It's fine.
Hi. We're laughing because it suddenly went live a little sooner than we expected. So, hi, welcome. This is Imogen with Body Intelligence, and this is the fourth of my April chats with Miriam Grace, who's a dear friend and also a very experienced psychotherapist in the UK. But of course, she's working online and finds herself working with people elsewhere in the world too, right, Miriam? Yeah. So we've been having a series of chats about the emotional body, and today's subject, if you like, is self-awareness, self-responsibility, and self-care. So, Miriam, welcome. Uh, so Miriam, as I said, is a psychotherapist, and I'm an Alexander Technique teacher by my training and experience. And we're getting together, and we have done several times in the past, and we are again in June to deliver a joint workshop to therapists, practitioners of various types on the emotional body. But my kind of question is psychotherapy on its own not enough, Miriam? Why, from your point of view, are we getting together? What's the benefit of that?
Well, I suppose Gestalt psychotherapy, which is, my core training, is quite body focused. Actually, we have a lot of body awareness and body dialogue and working with the body. But I suppose that does lead me to believe that talking about it, whatever it is not enough. Because, I think I was saying to you about the client doesn't come into the room or come onto the Zoom without their body any more than they, come without what some of us might call their soul or their spirit. And Carl Jung had written above his therapy room door, something in Latin that roughly translates as God is present whether we invite him or not. And the body is present in the therapy whether we specifically say body on our business card or not. The body arrives with the client because that is part of their experience.
Yeah, and vice versa. As an Alexander teacher, people not completely, but mostly are coming for what you might term body, physical issues. And yet, of course, all their emotions come with them. And Alexander Technique, especially body intelligence, what I am teaching and working with right now, is extremely mindful. It's really looking at how we're thinking, what we're thinking, and how that affects us in the moment. And yet that's different from what you bring. And I just think it's the more awareness we can have on the more aspects of ourselves, of which there are many. And we've talked about this too, that mind and body and spirit and soul, whatever you want to call it, but mind and body are not separate. They're all parts of this thing that we call self. And it's a easy way for us to talk about it. But they're not really.
It's not really binary, is it? It's not an either or. We're either experiencing something in our body or in our mind. It's part of a whole. And I suppose the pain, we might notice our emotional pain more than our physical pain, or we might notice our physical pain more than our emotional pain. But what we both notice is that very often when clients first come, they come because of pain, some sort of discomfort or pain. And my clients are often asking for peace. I write down what why you're here, and what would you if you left therapy after some sessions thinking that was really worth it, what would you have achieved? Where would you be? And so many times this word peace comes up.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. And I think that you talk a lot about ease, and for me, those two feelings, when I sort of think about peace, and I'm just feeling into my body now, what peace is like. Peace is like ease to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just remembering that last week we talked about being at ease with discomfort, so to speak. And I think that ties into what you're saying.
Yes, about self-acceptance as well as self-awareness. We could have had self-acceptance in today's title as well as the self-awareness.
Could add it in.
Yes, why not? I think one of the things that's so important for me is that I don't think that there's anything wrong with my clients, and that might not be their perception when they're coming to therapy, because they're coming saying something's wrong. Can you fix it, or can we fix it on the whole? And I suppose the first part of that education that I have to do with my clients is very similar to that which you do with yours. Is I can't fix it. I can be with you. I can be with you while
maybe use some tools that we explore that might help you to be with it in a different way.
Be with it in a different way. And then paradoxically, sometimes it results in a fix. And that's one of my favorite theories. And I know that when I told you this many years ago, I just love this. And that's the paradoxical theory of change, which is,
I love the title of it as well as what it is.
I know often you say to me, because you'll sometimes do a session with me when we're together, a hands-on session, and you say, don't try to relax. As soon as you try to relax, you're not relaxing. And as soon as you try to feel the peace and try to achieve it, you're actually not engaging with what
trying is. Yes, it's exactly. And then that creates a tension. If we're thinking in a more bodily way, but it could be, I guess, an emotional tension. And so that's where that beautiful paradoxical theory of change comes in, because when we stop trying to fix or change or relax or be at ease, or when we stop trying to do that, paradoxically, we get closer. We often move closer, or we change our relationship with whatever the problem issue is.
So psychologically, say I'm feeling worthless. I mean, not that that's specifically a feeling, that's really a judgment, but I'm having some negative, horrible feelings about myself, that just by being with that and exploring that and bringing some ease to that, that I'm accepting myself and saying it's okay to be where I'm at, and I'm okay to feel this. And then my self-esteem's gone up a few notches, actually, because
soon as you've given yourself that kind of permission, allowed it, accepted it.
So there's a lot about self-care and self-esteem in this approach of staying still in order to move forward, and pausing in order to operate choice. But I think another point that we were making is because we're not the guru or the fixer or the healer, is that that can be very, very challenging when somebody really feels they need that. I mean, I think there are times in life perhaps when we all feel that we need someone to come and fix it. And it's that shift into loving yourself or caring for yourself enough to invest in being your own therapist.
So is that kind of how the self-responsibility piece of our title would come in?
And it's quite sad sometimes because very often the people who come to us, and if they've been through trauma or maybe just have a particular genetic weakness or something like that. I don't like the word weakness, but you know what I mean, predisposition to discomfort or dis-ease, but they will quite rightfully feel it's not my fault, this happened to me and it's not fair and it's not my fault, and it's quite a moment of grief to realize, but I'm the only person who can do anything about it. To sort of realize that rescue isn't coming, and that somebody isn't going to fix it for us it's a sad moment to come into self-responsibility, but it's also has a joy or
empowering, so I think we've kind of come full circle, kind of back to our first conversation that we had, which was we talked about the pause. We were talking about the Gestalt cycle and the pause and sensation and awareness being at the beginning of that and being most important. It's kind of interesting that we've come right back to that in a way as being the key, that kind of stopping to be with what is.
And be self-aware. And Fritz Perls, who is considered the father of Gestalt psychotherapy, said awareness is of itself curative. And Gestalt therapists, we see that awareness is not just the goal of therapy, but it's the methodology. So
I would say exactly the same for my work.
Yes.
Awareness is so far, yes, you need that before anything else, but it also can be a lot of everything else.
Yes.
So
and I think it's interesting as we come to the end of our fourth conversation that this is the excited moment that we had so many years ago that gave birth to our workshops, isn't it? It's just like
when we realized there was
that's right. And so we actually sat on a train, didn't we, somewhere between Wilmington and New York. And we were writing the first body mind workshop. That was 2012, and our first one ran in 2013. And now our fourth one is running not in America and not in the UK, but actually on Zoom.
In the Zoomiverse. I just made that up.
And I think we've got some people signed up who, they've taken advantage of the early bird, which is a quite substantial discount, isn't it? And they're going to be joining our workshop, and we've got bookings from both sides of the pond.
Yes. So if anyone is interested in this workshop where we're really bringing these two pieces together and exploring them in a very experiential way, mostly, and it's really designed for people who are psychotherapists, counselors, Alexander Technique teachers, somatic body workers of various practitioners who work with people in this sort of relational,
have bodies.
Yes. And minds. So I will put that information next to the video in the comments or in the description. And please let us know if you have questions about anything we talked about today, or anything that intrigues you. We're interested. Yeah, and any feedback.
I would like to add, you know, how much we enjoy the workshops and how much I'd like people to join us, because it's growthful for us all to share those experiences. And from the experiential exercises, you'll have takeaways to use with, you know, the people that you work with as well. Yeah. And we're going to try and not do too much theory within the workshops, so that we can actually do a lot of that by links and emails in between.
So bringing it back to kind of self-care. So it's kind of self-care for you, the person attending, and also tools to help you work with and bring to your clients. So
yes, because we have minds and bodies, and so do our clients.
Indeed. All right. Thank you, Miriam. I'm really excited for our workshop. Okay. Bye.
Thank you, Imogen. Bye.
Yes, always. Bye-bye.